When you came to me with your bad dreams and your fears, it was easy to see you've been crying. Seems like everywhere you turn, catastrophe reigns. Who really profits from the dying? I could hold you in my arms. I could hold you forever. And I could hold you in my arms. Oh, I could hold you forever. When you kissed my lips with my mouth so full of questions, my worried mind she quiet. Place your hands on my face, close my eyes and say that love is a poor man's food, no prophesy. I could hold you in my arms. I could hold you forever. And I could hold you in my arms. Oh, I could hold you forever.
Miss Sanders was one of my favorite teachers ever. She always smiling, always laughing and cracking jokes, and I loved her singing. She would always sing to us or do a little jig to get our attention when we weren't paying it that much attention. But she always knew how to get our attention and how to make history fun, and she was such a kind heart. I mean, always going out of her way to do whatever she could to help others, and always treating everyone as well as she could and making everyone smile regardless of what kind of situation she was in or they were in. And I think one of my favorite memories is she was showing us her favorite song, and it was a really old song. I can't remember the name of it, but she started singing it with it, and it was one of the most beautiful voices I had ever heard singing along.
I know a lot of people are trying to pick their favorite memory of Miss Sanders, but honestly, there's too many good memories for me just to choose one. She was just such a good person. She saw the best in everyone instantly. She always trusted you until you gave her a reason not to. She was always there when you needed her. You could trust her with anything. Go to her after class if you had a problem. She tried to help. She always tried to give her best and expected the same from you. So when she left, it was almost a shock. You didn't really expect it to happen. You just woke up. At the time, me and my friend believed that it was because of the pep rally that we were having that day. The last time she had went to one, she got hit in the head with a volleyball, so we figured that's probably why she was missing. But when we were pulled into the auditorium and given the bad news, and felt unreal for 2 or 3 days afterwards. Because it's almost crazy to think that such a good person was just gone in an instant.
Hi, my name's David Nunley, and I just want to say Miss Sanders was one of my favorite history teachers because she always sang to us. She when she would laugh without people judged her. She wouldn't care, and when she did the musical, she was like one of my favorite people to do it with, and she told so many ghost stories that I just loved. I can't remember any of them, but she just made me smile every time I walked into the room.
The year I had her was the year she passed, and something had happened outside of school in my family, and it was really rough, and she was there to cheer me up. And that was right before, 2 days before she had passed, and she was caring and sweet.
My favorite memory of Miss Sanders is the third or second night of my first musical, The Little Mermaid. I had thrown my hat off the stage and accidentally hit Mr. Poole in the face. And I didn't know what to do. I thought I was going to be in trouble the next day. So I walk into the dressing room and I tell Miss Sanders about it, and she just looks at me and she goes, "Yes!"
One of my favorite memories of Sarah is something that I was reminded of the other day when I was actually cleaning out some bookshelves in my house. And I came across a book about Alice in Wonderland and how the novel was a reflection of Christian teachings. And I didn't remember purchasing it, and so I opened it up, and inside Miss Sanders had written a little inscription, and she had given it to me. And as soon as I saw her handwriting, I knew that it was from her. And she always had such beautiful handwriting. I was always so envious of it when I would go into her classroom and see her notes on the board, because it just looked like a font. It was so perfect. But that book and that gift was very much how she was. It was something that she has done as a study in her church, and she wanted to pass that on to other people, and she wanted to share something that had been positive for her. And I think that that's what she tried to do with all of us, her friends and her coworkers and her students, that if it was something that she loved and she was passionate about it and it had made a difference in her life, then she wanted to give that to us. And that's one of my favorite things that I remember about her.
I think that my most favorite and funniest memory with Miss Sanders was at the homecoming game last year against Lebanon, when she had just been walking by and she stopped at the student section and was talking to everybody there, and she was standing beside me, and the ref, I believe that someone had face masked Jarrett Poole. He was a senior last year, and that they didn't call it, and me and her both ended up screaming and yelling to the point we about both lost our voice at the refs, and it's really funny. We always joked about that, about how we yelled at the refs, so it was a really good time and a good memory I have with her.
The year I had Miss Sanders, a lot of stuff went on in my life. I had a lot of fights with my friend, and she was always there for me when I needed her. And the day before she passed away, I was going to go see her because I was leaving early that day, and I hadn't seen her in a while. I had missed her class a bunch because I had to have physical therapy, and it was the day we had the pep rally, so when they canceled it, I was excited because I would get to see her. And then when they called us down to the auditorium, it was I just bursted out into tears. She was one of my favorite teachers. She made history fun for me when it usually isn't a lot of fun. I was never interested in history until her class.
Well, I only knew Miss Sanders more of a debate coach rather than a teacher, because the year that I got to actually be in her class was the year she unfortunately passed away. But luckily I got to know her for a full year before that, because I was in debate and I was unable to go on the trip like we normally do to compete because I had a schedule conflict. But I know she definitely helped a lot of other people, and she definitely helped me a lot when teaching me on definitely interacting with people, especially with people I don't typically agree with. So in a lot of ways, even though I never had her as a school teacher, she taught me a lot of different ways, and a lot, in my opinion, more important ways.
So right after Miss Sanders died, a couple of friends and I, Skylar, Josh, Lauren, Landon, Emily, and we all went to visit Miss Sanders' grave because we couldn't make it to the ceremony, and I just wrote a short little piece for Miss Sanders. We went to visit to you today to find a closure as much as we could, and I didn't say goodbye. Instead, I said I would see you later. And it was as the sun set over your grave and shone on the flowers and the fresh soil, I realized you are not gone. You will forever live in us and anyone who loved you. You will walk with us and guide us until we meet you again in the sky. You will love and teach through us. We will carry you on in our name and make you proud. We will love others as you loved us. We will teach others to love you, to love as you loved everyone. You will live with us through not only the good, but also the bad, the worst, and the horrible. You will be there to hold us together when the glue begins to crumble, and you will wipe our tears and lift our heads when we are too tired. We will be your voice and your laugh, and you will forever be remembered for the amazing, beautiful, and smart woman you are. We will eat cake in a cup and Krispy Kreme donuts in your name on the debate trip this year and next. And as the sun set over us tonight, I realized I will never say goodbye, but I will only say, see you later. And as the sun sank below the trees, leaving us in the dark, we watched you guide us home safely. And as the sun sank tonight, I realized you would forever live in my heart and mind, and as the sun sank, and so did my anger, doubt, and regret. For you are in a better place, and rest in peace. You will forever breathe, love, teach, and live through us, and we will see you later.